If someone had asked me before my celiac diagnosis what a gluten-free person's pantry looked like, I probably would have guessed like an alien world. Shelf after shelf of products I've never seen before and certified gluten-free everything. But is that really the case? Today, we're gonna find out. We are going inside my gluten-free pantry, and I'm going to reveal my top 5 gluten-free pantry essentials that I cannot live without. Into the pantry we go! Quick note, I do not have a Pinterest-worthy cupboard. I'm just a regular gal. I'm not super organized, but I did do a little spring cleaning, so it's not the disaster that it was a few weeks ago. And none of the products in this video are sponsored. They're just things that I buy on a regular basis. All right, so let's start off with my first pantry essential, which is gluten-free oats. I always have gluten-free oats on hand. I actually keep the bigger bags up here, but I typically buy the Bob's Red Mill gluten-free oats. I just find that they're the most readily available ones. I was buying the Only Oats brand, but I haven't been able to find them. So, Bob's it is.
Bob's your uncle.
Bob's your oat. This is why I don't make jokes. I use oats for all kinds of things. We have oatmeal a lot for breakfast or overnight oats, which are delicious. We also make these peanut butter balls from Oshi Glows as a little snack that use oats. And I use them in baking a lot. They are a staple for me. Now, other than that on this shelf, there isn't a whole lot that are certified gluten-free items. We do have a little snack area over here with some gluten-free Oreos that I think there's only like 1 or 2 left in here, okay. So those are no longer in the pantry. So the other main thing I have on this shelf are things like nuts and seeds. And the only one that I make sure is definitely certified gluten-free are hemp hearts. They're not like a pantry essential for me, but I do like to have them on hand. I do make sure that those are marked gluten-free as they are a risk of cross-contact. But other than that, things like pumpkin seeds, or I've got some raisins here. As long as they don't say may contain wheat, then they should be totally safe. I do keep all the bags of these up here in case I ever needed to check the label. I just have these in smaller jars so that when I'm making breakfast, they're really easy to grab. And that's because I buy most of my stuff at Costco. Spoiler alert, this video isn't sponsored by Costco, but it will probably seem like an ad for Costco just because I love it so much. I'm just a Costco lover, a Costco fiend. Just a Costco girl. So for example, hemp hearts, giant bag from Costco. It's got the Canadian celiac logo on it. They are safe. Chia seeds, also Costco. These do not have a gluten-free label, but the only ingredient is organic chia seeds, so they're good. As mentioned, here are my gluten-free oats. Here are the raisins. Just your typical sun-made raisins. Ingredients are just organic raisins. No may contains, should be safe. Moving right along to my...
Do you want to close that?
Is anyone else the kind of person that like just leaves cupboard doors open? That's me, because I can just block it out, apparently. Okay, moving on to my second essential gluten-free pantry item, we have gluten-free pasta. I do have a couple different kinds of gluten-free pasta in here, but Rummo gluten-free pasta is the best. I was really sad for a couple months because I used to buy it on Amazon and then they stopped selling it for some reason and I couldn't find it anywhere, and then I found it at one of my local grocery stores, so I always stock up on it. These are great because they're a little bit thicker than pretty much any other kind of gluten-free pasta I've tried, which means they have a great chew to them and they're still good the next day. Always have gluten-free pasta on hand. Rummo, if you want to sponsor me, I will gladly take and eat all of the pasta. Now, an honorable mention for my pantry essentials, didn't quite make the list, but it was close, is gluten-free ramen noodles, another Costco favorite. I would say that these are a nice to have if you can find them, but they're not an essential for me. But they make a really quick lunch or dinner because they only take 4 minutes to cook. Also, they are only made with whole grain flours, and there's 8 grams of protein in them. So I would say that this is a gluten-free item that actually is healthier than the normal one. Gluten-free perks. So other than pasta,
Beans.
you want me to talk about the beans?
Beans.
See, this is an example of an item that is not marked gluten-free, but when you read the ingredients, oh, it actually does say gluten-free at the bottom of the label. So there we go. You learn something new every day. They're your favorite. Yeah, that's why you wanted me to talk about them. So other than oatmeal, we also love to have like a classic British style breakfast on the weekends. And sometimes I make baked beans, but most often we buy a can because it's a lot easier.
The full English.
Full English breakfast!
We like the full English breakfast, don't we, dear?
Back to the video. So other than that, I've got pasta sauce. You don't need to buy gluten-free, just check those ingredients and you should be good to go. As well as canned beans. I'm pretty sure that these don't say gluten-free on the label. No. But no gluten ingredients, no may contain statement. Should be good to go. And same story on this top cupboard here. I can barely even see it. This is mainly just canned tomato items like crushed tomatoes, tomato sauce, and coconut milk. Naturally gluten-free, no contain statements. We're good. Moving right along to my third essential gluten-free pantry item. It's kind of like a two item thing. So either gluten-free crackers or gluten-free corn chips. As you can probably guess, this is another Costco purchase because it's a massive bag. We love Kirkland's signature. Gluten-free crackers and corn chips are an essential for me because I like snacks, but also because I am kind of like a snacky lunch kind of person. If I didn't meal prep something, then I tend to have like crackers and hummus and cheese and fruits and veggies for lunch. And so they are a gluten-free pantry essential. Let me quickly show you these beautiful crackers from Costco. Now, if you are someone who has a Costco near you and you're gluten-free and you don't already have a membership, I did the math this morning. The amount of money you will save on gluten-free crackers by shopping at Costco will basically pay for the membership fee. I tend to buy this one because this one's my favorite, but if you're someone who buys Mary's crackers, for example, at Costco, you can get a large box like this. It's 556 grams of crackers for $11.99. But if you buy them at your regular grocery store, you get 180 grams of crackers for like $6.99 on average. Sometimes a bit cheaper, but more often than not, I've seen them for like $8 a box. So you get a whole lot more cracker for a lot less money. It's all about saving money. And these ones are so good. The R.W. Garcia brand cracker. These are the ones that we love. Now, we've thought about this before. They're kind of like a corn chip. Like they are, I'm pretty sure, a corn-based cracker. Yes. Which is probably part of the reason that we love them. I maybe should have just made this quick category, just corn chips, but it's fine. And then there's also this lovely beetroot flavor.
Oh, they're so good.
They're so good. So good! We can't forget about just good old classic corn chips here. You do want to make sure that you buy specifically gluten-free corn chips. So we love the Pasta brand, but even Tostitos, which is very readily available, is marked gluten-free. Except for the multigrain. Do not eat the multigrain, you will get sick. But what is our favorite thing to make with corn chips?
Nachos and cheese!
Yes, that's probably our like top comfort food. Do you consider that a comfort food?
I don't understand this comfort food thing. Because like, soup is comfort food to me. It's when you're sick and you want like comfort.
I think of it like it's food that makes your heart happy. Then it's a comfort food, right? This is like a baby. This is...
That's like a big baby.
The only other thing that I have on this shelf that is marked gluten-free is gluten-free breadcrumbs. Gluten-free breadcrumbs are one of the things that I kind of just add to my grocery list when I need them, because I'm pretty sure that these ones have passed their best before date because I don't use them on a regular basis. 2022, December.
Oh, it's not that bad.
Yeah, like that's why they're still in here, is that they're not that bad, so I might still use them. It's best before. It's a guideline.
More like guidelines.
Where is that from?
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh.
The code is more what you'd call guidelines.
If you're someone who makes a lot of breaded things or homemade burgers or something like that that you put breadcrumbs in, then you might want to make it a pantry essential for you. But for me, I'll buy a box if I need it, or I will turn my homemade bread into breadcrumbs, which is actually my favorite thing to do. You can make flavored breadcrumbs. Like one time I made my beer, cheese, and onion loaf from the bread course, and then I turned it into breadcrumbs, and we made breaded cauliflower with it, and they were so good. That's why I'm lukewarm on store-bought ones. Potatoes! Potatoes are gluten-free. She's an East Coaster. Potatoes, gluten-free.
Where are those from? Are they from the East Coast?
They're from Costco. They're from Edmonton. Do they make potatoes in Edmonton?
Do they make potatoes? Yes, I'm sure they do in the potato factory.
The other thing I want to talk about on this shelf is rice. Rice is a pantry essential, but it's not a gluten-free pantry essential. Rice is the only grain that has extremely low chances of cross-contact just due to the way that it's grown and processed, so you don't have to look for a gluten-free label when you buy rice, which means that you can buy a giant bag. So we buy a big old bag of rice. Is it 5 pounds? 10 pounds. From Costco. And I refill that jar so I don't have to take the 10-pound bag out every time I want to make rice, which is quite often. And that's about all I have to say about rice. Delicious. My fourth essential gluten-free pantry item is, drum roll please, gluten-free soy sauce. You cannot buy regular soy sauce when you're gluten-free because it contains wheat, so you have to buy gluten-free soy sauce, which is also sometimes called tamari. I think that we actually prefer to buy the low sodium one over the original one, but Costco sells it in big bottles like this, and it's so much cheaper. So this is the one we get. It's the Sanjay brand. Gluten-free soy sauce is also one of those things that I feel like is a gluten-free perk. I think it actually says on the bottle here that it has a richer flavor with over 30% more umami than typical soy sauces, which only contain 40 to 60% soy. Because they have wheat in them. Even tastier than regular. We use gluten-free soy sauce in tons of things. Stir fries, sauteing veggies, sauces like peanut sauce. And we also like to have it on hand for if we get takeout sushi or if we make our own sushi, which we do sometimes. And it's really tasty. This shelf is a little bit of the land of misfit toys. It's just sort of things that go in the fridge that we have extra of, or things that I didn't know where to put anywhere else. The one thing I do have down here is my last box of gluten-free Kraft mac and cheese that I bought for the video that I made in 2020. By the way, if you haven't watched that video, please go watch it now and go sign my petition to bring gluten-free Kraft dinner to Canada, because we only need like 10,000 more signatures and then they're gonna do it. The reason that I have this, it's kind of like, you know when you're a kid on Easter and you get like a beautiful chocolate bunny and you don't want to eat it because like it's too beautiful to eat? That's how I feel about this box of Kraft dinner. I just know that when it's gone, it's gone. So instead I just let it expire instead of eating it. The other nice to have but not essential thing that's down here are sugar cones, gluten-free sugar cones. And that's because I love eating ice cream in an ice cream cone and I can never do it. So I just buy them at home and then we buy ice cream or we make ice cream and I have it in a delicious sugar cone. Not essential, but nice to have. I have some peanut butter, some jam, olives, sriracha. Those are all naturally gluten-free. We also have a whole lot of popcorn. We like our corn chips, we like our corn crackers, and we like our popcorn. Popcorn is naturally gluten-free, though look out for a may contains statement on it. My good old Orville Redenbacher says gluten-free on the packaging. So we're good. Another Costco purchase, in case you can't tell by the size of this container. 3.6 kilograms. I do also want to touch on dried beans and lentils. Ideally, you would find these marked gluten-free, but I don't think I've ever seen dried beans that are labeled gluten-free. Have you seen them?
I saw them once, and then I never saw it again.
Yes, it's a rare occurrence. I typically just try to find a bag that doesn't say may contain, and before we use them, we spread them out on a baking sheet and look for any foreign grains, and then we give them a good rinse before we cook them. My fifth and final essential gluten-free pantry item is not necessarily one specific item. It's kind of more like a tip. and that is to have some really good convenience foods in your pantry. So for me, before I was gluten-free, if I had a night where I didn't have time to cook dinner, I would just order takeout. But that's become difficult now that I've been diagnosed with celiac disease, and it's been even more difficult since I've moved to a small town, because there's basically nothing that is safe that I can order for delivery. So I've started stocking up on quick and easy dinners to replace takeout. For example, I have this sweet red chili sauce. It's probably not the healthiest thing. I think that it has quite a bit of sugar, but it tastes really good, and I can quickly just throw it in with veggies or tofu, or use it as a dipping sauce or something like that for a really fast and easy dinner. I don't just like drink this bottle for dinner, although I'm tempted. It is marked gluten-free. I have this butter chicken sauce, which is really good, and it satisfies that like restaurant craving. I usually make it with paneer and peas and rice, so it takes like maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes. You could also make it with chicken though, hence butter chicken. Another example of a quick convenience meal that we always have on hand is a good old sausage tomato sauce pasta. So I have my Rummel pasta, tomato sauce, and then because I'm vegetarian, this is like a freezer item, so I guess it doesn't really like count in the pantry thing, but just to show you, the Beyond sausage is gluten-free, and they're also really good. But if you eat meat, just keep some sausages or whatever meat you like in the freezer so that you have it if you ever need a quick meal. Now you may have noticed that I don't have a lot of packaged cookies or baked goods or things like that, and the reason is that I bake all of those myself. It's a lot cheaper and they taste a lot better. So my sixth bonus essential gluten-free pantry item would be my flours and starches. But I think that deserves a whole video of its own. So subscribe if you want to see that video. Let me know in the comments what your essential pantry items are, and if you're also part of the Costco Club. We're executive members, so we're pretty cool. Should I do a whole Costco video? Road trip! So with that, that's what a gluten-free person's pantry looks like. Who'da thunk?